Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Glad you guys are joining me for another video today. It's been quite some time since I talked about some of the issues I see in Enlisted because Enlisted's actually doing pretty well. There's not a whole lot of big issues that I see. But there is this one that I've kind of been rolling around in my head, and I don't think it's necessarily like a major issue, but it's something that I think would be interesting to talk about in a video, and so we're going to be doing that today. Now, if you haven't guessed by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about why the Enlisted player base seems to be so bad. Now, before we jump into this question, I want to quickly say I'm not trying to be mean with this video. I'm not trying to be hurtful. There's nothing wrong with being a lower skilled player or someone who is not as experienced and is just playing the game for fun. That's fine. I'm not trying to shame anyone or anything like that. That is not the point of this video. More so, the point of this video is to talk about something that I have seen quite a few players mention, which is that the Enlisted player base seems to, on average, be a lot lower skilled compared to a lot of other games out there. And I think that those of you out there that might play other games, like I do, I play like a lot of competitive games especially, it's kind of obvious, right? Like, it seems crazy to me that there can be players out there who are going, 8-20 or something like that in a game of Enlisted. And for a long time, I was kind of confused about that. But now, I think I've narrowed it down to two primary causes for this, okay? The first one is pretty straightforward, although it's probably going to piss off a lot of people. It is the fact that Enlisted has no skill-based matchmaking, okay? Now, I know just saying those four characters, three letters, whatever, together is immediately going to make a lot of people, like, go into my comments and start screaming about Call of Duty, SBMM, and whatever. I'm not advocating for SBMM in Enlisted. I'm not advocating against it either, for the record, but that's not really my point here. My point is that Enlisted doesn't have it, and so in other games that do have it, you just have a more balanced experience most of the time, right? Like, even with really light skill-based matchmaking, you're going to be playing against players who, generally speaking, are close enough to your skill level to where the skill differences aren't as significantly noticeable, right? While in Enlisted, if you're a top 5% player and you queue a game, you can be queued into a game with bottom 5% players. And those players, like, you're going to be exposed to them in ways that you wouldn't be in another game. And so it is going to kind of skew your perception of the overall player base of Enlisted, right? Like, if I play Battlefield, I'm not going to be playing against a lot of lower skilled players because the matchmaker is going to filter them out of my games, right? I'm not going to see what a bottom 5% player looks like because they're simply not in my games. I have no concept of them. They don't exist to me. While in Enlisted, I might be playing with bottom 5% players, right? I might be playing with them fairly often because the matchmaker allows them to be put in my game because there is no skill-based matchmaking at all. And again, I'm not trying to make an argument for skill-based matchmaking. That is not my point with this. I'm just simply pointing out the fact that I think it is more likely for us to be able to see those players, and that can be a jarring experience and can lend itself towards people saying, like, oh, the Enlisted skill base or the Enlisted player base is so bad compared to other games. It's like, well, no, they're not actually any worse than other games. It just feels that way because you're seeing that bottom 50% player base that you wouldn't see in other games. Okay, now moving on to the other major thing. Enlisted lends itself, by the very way it is designed, to higher skilled players. Now let me explain what I mean by that. Because of the way the squad system works, a higher skilled player is going to be able to dominate a match better than a lower skilled player would. The reason for this is because if I get killed by someone as a higher skilled player, I can immediately switch to my next squad member and go back on a rampage, right? Let's say I'm able to kill... let's say I can kill 5 people per soldier life, right? Well, in a 5-man squad, that's 25 kills, right? If you're only able to get like 2 kills per squad or per squad member, then you're only getting, 10 kills, right? So the more that you have, like per soldier life, right, that is going to massively change how effective you can be. And you're going to be able to do significant amounts of damage because you're able to be in the action so much in Enlisted, right? Like, Enlisted has very high uptime. In a game like Battlefield, if I get killed 3 out of 10 times and kill someone 7 out of 10 times, then, you know, even those 3 out of 10 times someone gets the drop on me and I get killed, I got to go back to a respawn screen. I got to go respawn. I got to go back to base. I got to run all the way up, you know, yada, yada, yada. That takes me out of the game for a couple minutes, and maybe in those, that minute or, you know, minute and a half, 2 minutes, whatever it is, maybe they're able to capture an objective, or maybe they're able to win the round in Counter-Strike, which puts them in a more competitive state. Well, in Enlisted, I have to lose my entire squad to go back to a respawn screen, and if I'm a good player that built the rally point, I'm back in the action within, you know, 15, 20 seconds. And on top of all of that, I'm able to wipe other people's squad and get them out of the game much, much faster than other players necessarily would be able to, because they're not able to wipe squads as efficiently as I'm able to. And if I have better reflexes, then I can switch squads faster, wipe enemy squads much faster, so on and so forth. My point here is that, like, higher skilled players just have higher uptime in a game. And I think this is why you see a lot of games in Enlisted where you have one player who has, like, you know, 95 kills, and then the next guy on their team has like 45, right? It's because of that squad system, because the players who can really aim well, have really figured out the game, or really min-maxing, are able to do so much damage in such a short amount of time, and they're able to keep that going, keep that uptime going for so long, that they're able to dish out such a significant amount of damage compared to lower skilled players who might only be able to get a couple kills a minute, as opposed to, you know, me or something that's getting like, you know, 20 kills a minute or some shit like that. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm kind of like getting at there. It's kind of a hard thing to grasp. In my opinion, it kind of takes a second if you don't immediately jump onto the kind of systemic problem that's happening there. Now, I don't think there's a solution to this. I think this is just the way that Enlisted is built. I think it's a consequence of the squad system, and so I don't think that there's any problem here. And I don't think that this is all necessarily a big problem either. It's just something that I think that the developers should be aware of, as I'm sure they probably are. And I think it's something that we as the player base should be aware of, to kind of, I don't know, combat this idea that, like, the Enlisted player base is worse than other games. I don't think that's true. I think that the Enlisted player base is as skilled as other games, and you just kind of notice them being worse in this game, right? But I don't know, maybe I'm off base with this. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear you guys. I'd love you guys to join our community Discord and discuss this. The link for that is down in the description below. So come play some games with me, play some games with some awesome people in the community. I would love to have you guys over there. Seriously, join up Discord. It's a great time. But otherwise, yeah, leave a comment, like, and subscribe, all that good stuff. I do appreciate it. And yeah, guys, without anything else, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.